Good afternoon ladies and gentlemen, your boy Virtus here and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 4 FPS series. In today's video we are going to be showing you how you can make your AI follow your character. So at the moment our AI is just pretty much just standing there in place. We can shoot it, we can kill it and all of that good stuff. So what I want to do in today's video is just get it to follow your character. So what I'm going to need to do then to turn this into an actual AI where we can have it follow us, we need to do a few things. First things first, we need to set up some code so that we can tell it to follow the character. We also need to set up a navigational mesh. This is essentially something that is going to be inside of your level and it tells the characters, when I say the character I mean the AI, where it can and cannot go. So let me show you how to do that first, otherwise everything in terms of script that we do is simply not going to work. What you want to do is go over to volumes and then you want to find your nav mesh bounds volume. If you click and drag and drop it into your scene here, you can see we get this little box. This is essentially the navigational space for your character. Now this is automatically going to grab information from collision within your scene, so it's going to tell the characters that they cannot go within, say the areas with collision. So let me show you what I mean by that. If I make this box a little bit bigger, just like this, and then press P to turn on my pathfinding, you can see I've got my green space, which is the bits that they can go into. However, if I go and drag it over here, just to the left a little bit, you can see it's going to go and just miss a little bit around the collision and it's automatically going to generate those bounds volumes for us. So with this done, what I'm going to do then is essentially just make this nice and big on all of the axes, both X and then Y, just like this, and then I'm just going to drag it over, make sure it fits in perfectly, and that's all good. If you want to do this a bit quicker, just go into the details panel, and then from here you can set all of that from the scale on here. And you can see now, if you notice, it's automatically generated that collision for the top of your objects and all of that good stuff. Now if you don't want it to be able to go up to this height, all you would essentially do is essentially just scale this down so that it doesn't cover the top layer. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you can see I've got my volume here. Essentially what I'm going to be doing is just moving this below the level so that it only covers the ground piece of the floor. Now it's going to take a little bit of adjustment to get this right, but once you do get it, it's going to stop them moving up to those higher locations. Anyway, with that done, it's time to actually get our characters moving and following the character. Now, if you remember, in our previous videos, we set up this simple AI character. This is just a blueprint. So what I'm going to do is open this up real quick, and we're going to start putting some script and a few other components into this. So give it a couple of seconds to load up, and then we can do that. Now, if we go into the viewport, there's one thing that we need before we can do anything related to AI. So that is add the component for pawn sensing. So if you go to add component in the top left hand corner, go to pawn sensing, and then just add this into your scene. What this allows us to do is pretty much just generate a event for when the player actually sees a pawn essentially being a character blueprint, one that you're going to be controlling yourself. And then from that we can tell it to do all kinds of actions for, moving the AI and all of that good stuff. So with this pawn sensing, if you compile, it's going to pretty much generate the little volume so you can see it inside of your viewport. So if you can't see it when you have pawn selected, just go ahead and hit compile, and then you're going to see you have this green radius. This is essentially the angle of view of your pawn sensing. So what you need to do, because it's really wide at the moment, a little bit unrealistic, you need to turn that down. And the way that you're going to turn this down is just by reducing the sight radius. So this is going to change sort of the length, whereas we've got another control over here for peripheral vision, and if you turn that down you can control sort of the width of your your peripheral vision. Now for me, I like to have a peripheral vision of maybe about 35, just like this, and I think also I like having it quite long as well so they can see it from a distance, so I'm going to leave it pretty much just like this. Now when you do get your AI in here, what you might want to do is just play around with this pawn sensing volume with your playtesting. Do you want them to be able to see you from a distance? Do you want it to be wide? Do you want it to be closer? It's entirely up to you, but that's something you can play around with once you have all of this set up. So with this section done, what I'm going to do then is essentially move on and create the event for when this character sees the pawn. So you can see in the bottom right here in the details panel, with the pawn sensing selected, I have got on see pawn. If I press plus next to this, I can create an event with it. Now don't worry about the rest, on here noise or on component and all that stuff. The only one we're working with today is this on see pawn. Press plus and that is going to create you a blueprint node for this event. Now the pawn is going to be the one that we are controlling, the one that we want it to, the one that it sees. If you hook up the third person character and it sees anything else, it's not going to do anything. So the pawn that we're going to be working with is going to be cast to third person character, and this is just essentially the character that the player is going to be controlling. And now what I've done this, what I can do is I've got this little event and I'm just going to test this to make sure that our AI can see it. So I'm going to print a string after this, and whenever it does see the pawn, so us, I'm going to tell it to say hello. So if I hit compile, close this, and then press play, and then if I walk in front of these, you can see it says hello because it can see us. So we know that's all working. What we're going to do then is open up this blueprint once again, we're going to delete the print string, and we are going to use a node called AI move to. And then with this, we can pretty much tell it to go to either a destination, or we can tell it to go to a target actor. So what we're going to do is tell it to move the pawn, and also the target actor. So the pawn is essentially itself. So what I'm going to do is drag that out, make a reference to itself. So type in self, and then you'll see it says here, get a reference to self. And then for destination, you could do this either two ways. You could essentially set the destination to an actor location, a preset destination in your level, but for me, what I like doing is just hooking up third person character to your target actor, and it's going to move it to that location, which is quite nice. So if I go ahead and hit compile now, press play, and then if I run in front of these, you're going to see they start running towards me. And it's the same for both of these, and it's all good. And that's pretty much just the basics of our AI. They will pretty much follow us until it gets to us, and we can still shoot them down just like this. And yeah, that's pretty much the basics of our AI. We've still got a little bit more work to do with these, and that's going to be getting our AI to shoot. We're going to get them to roam when they're not seeing anything, and all of that good stuff. But anyway guys, that's pretty much everything for today's video. Once again guys, thanks for watching, stay awesome, keep creating. Your boy Virtus, signing out. This series was made possible by you guys supporting me on Patreon. If you want to help create other series like this, then check out my Patreon page in the link in the description.